Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So I have some good news for buyers. We are in fact now 3 weeks in a row seeing listings flooding the market and our inventory is continuing to climb. Last week it felt like there was tons of options for people and so many price points. So let's take a look at what happened. So last week in Georgetown we had 26 properties sell, which is a high number. Of the 26, 22 sold over asking. So we're still definitely in bidding war territory. But the amazing news is that there was 36 new listings. I've now been doing these reports for well over a year, and 36 new listings in a week is the highest week. I went back, it's the highest week in the last 13, 14 months of new listings. So people are getting the message, but we are just seeing so many properties hitting the market. And this is the kind of activity we need to A, try and satisfy these buyers, and B, kind of cool things off a bit and give people some options. So in Georgetown, we were talking last week about that 800,000 to million price point, because I think if we can satisfy those buyers, it will help cool things off just overall. But last week, 10 properties sold between 800 and a million, but 8 of the 10 got over 1 million. So that price point is still fetching a lot. There was at one point last week 19 active listings between 800 and a million, which is insanely high. And so lots are coming up, but we're still seeing some big prices. But as people get options, these prices should cool off a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see if we feel people bringing up their asking price to maybe a more realistic 1.1, where a lot of these are getting it. But we're watching it closely. But amazing news for buyers is that we are seeing tons of inventory hitting the market. So in Acton this week, we had 5 sales, which is a normal-ish number for Acton. 4 sold over asking, so again, still super busy there. But good news for Acton is we had 7 new listings, which things are continually coming up in Acton, and so still tons of buyers there. We're still far from satisfying demand, but again, good news that we are seeing things hitting the market. So in our Glen Williams, Limehouse rural markets, it's definitely kind of a different story. So we don't have a ton of stuff hitting the market in those areas, and we are seeing a lot of sales when things come up. So in Glen Williams this week, we had 2 properties sell and only 1 new listing. So Glen Williams just never has enough available for the demand there. In Limehouse, we had 1 property sell and 1 new listing. So you can see that we are definitely not getting as many listings as we need in those areas. In the rural market, we had 3 properties sell, which is a good number for rural. If we see 3 to 5 sales in a week on rural, it's a busy time. So we had 3 properties sell, which is great, but only 2 new listings. So again, in those more outside pockets, not in town, we definitely are not satisfying our demand still. So now looking at active inventory. Last week we had 76 active listings, and this week we are up to 84 active listings, which is amazing. So we haven't had 84 active listings since the start of December. So this really is pointing in a great direction, and I think everyone can just agree we want to be in more of a stable, predictable market. Seeing these numbers is just supporting the fact that the last few weeks I felt like we were in a bit of a shift, and I definitely think that sellers are throwing their houses on the market, and that is definitely going to help with where we are in the market right now. So in Georgetown, we are up from 39 to 49 active listings. Again, we have not been hovering near that 50 mark in months, so that's amazing news. All of our price points are up this week in Georgetown. So under 700,000, we have 3 available listings. They are all condos or condo townhomes, but still we have been struggling in that price point. So good news there. 7 to 800,000 has 9 active listings, which is again a super high number for that price point. We have a lot of Delrex bungalow type products available right now, and that's definitely a shift. Those were feeling very scarce for a while. So people actually have things to look at and properties to see. It's so nice to have options. So 800 to a million is up to 17 active listings. That is a huge amount of listings. There was a week, I think, where we were sitting at 2. We had 2 active listings. So to be at 17 is just really promising. Our million plus price point also hit 20 listings this week. Last week we were at 17, we're up to 20. Again, we have not been in that 20 range for months. So all of these things are really good news for Georgetown buyers. I still think we're gonna continue to see the bidding wars, but slowly things are gonna start to shift and it should bring prices to a more normalized level. In Acton this week, we are up to 11 active listings, which I think this is the first week in a while we've seen double digits available in Acton. Of the 11, 10 of them are under $1 million, which is really our busy price point in Acton. So again, such good news that there are things available for people to see in Acton. Glen Williams, unfortunately, is down to only 1 active listing and it's over $3 million. So if you want to be in the Glen, it's still a predicament. If you are a seller in the Glen thinking about selling your property, we saw one get well over 200,000 over asking this week, and there is a ton of demand, especially for the smaller products under $1 million in the Glen. So if you've been thinking about selling there, just like with any market though, it is a really good time to be selling, but especially in the Glen. Limehouse is sitting at 5 active listings, which is the same as last week, but it starts at $1.8 million. So not surprising that we aren't seeing these move as quickly because $1.8 million is quite a bit of money, but a lot available in Limehouse. The rural market is down. Last week we were at 21 listings. This week we're at 18 listings. So again, we're down this week in the rural market. We saw quite a few properties actually terminate last week too. Still some options in the rural market. 1 product available under $1 million. Everything else is over 1.1. But I'm just feeling overall really optimistic for buyers out there. Sellers are really the ones that have been capitalizing on the market that we are in. And if you're a seller, you still, I think, have this window of the next few weeks to be getting a premium on your property. But as everyone else is listing their home and people are going to have some options to look at and to bid on, this is really the kind of activity we need to shift our market. So I think really good news for the overall picture of our Halton Hills real estate market. Rural and those little hamlets definitely could use a little more inventory, especially in the lower price points, but overall super promising. So next Tuesday, I will have our March numbers, which I think are gonna be crazy. We'll see how April started. Things are still super busy, but again, inventory is climbing. Fantastic news for just everything overall. So I'll be back next Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone.